everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Justin Feldman from Feldman Physical Therapy and Performance, and got Meg and John with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to structure your own training. So in a perfect world, maybe it'd be amazing if everybody had the opportunity to work with a coach, have someone plan out their training, whether you're doing running, triathlon, cycling, doesn't really matter what you're training for, even if you're just sort of training for life and trying to be healthy. But we've had the opportunity over the last couple months to follow along with a bunch of people's data from their wearable devices, and we've been sort of giving out some overall advice. But the biggest thing is, when you have such a large sample size and a large group of people, you can start to see trends. And we started to see a lot of common trends where basically we're seeing people with kind of a week that looks like low intensity, low intensity, low intensity, weekend, high intensity. And that's sort of that like weekend warrior syndrome. And when it comes to injury prevention, injury avoidance, this is something that we really want to try and get people to avoid. So we're hoping today that we can get you some information that you can use if you're planning your own training or maybe following a pre-structured training workout, so that you can avoid these pitfalls. All right, so Meg's got some advice first.
So if you're finding that a lot of your intensity, which we've seen in the data, a lot of your high intensity work is, on one day, like a weekend day, you want to increase the amount of high intensity work that you're doing throughout the week. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do higher intensity runs, but you want to get that heart rate going a little bit more, a little bit higher throughout the week. So that could be through some sort of cross training, strength training, biking, something else. Just sprinkle that in throughout the week so that it's not all occurring on one day.
All right, what do you got, John?
Sorry.
John's got pizza stuck in his throat from lunch.
That's actually factual. So the other thing you can do to avoid these increased injury risks is to make sure that you're creeping your overall volume up at the same time. So the two things, not enough intensity midweek runs, but then also we see this trend where people's long runs get longer, which is following that typical training plan, but not enough people's midweek runs end up getting longer too. So again, that doesn't really save you from that steady, massive spike on the weekend. So in addition to creeping up your intensity midweek, your midweek runs should also be increasing little by little as well as you get into the later months of or later weeks and months into your training plans. For half marathon training, you need to be north of anywhere from like 22 to 25 miles per week towards the end of your training plan. And with marathoning, you need to be getting up closer to 40. So you need to be sniffing both of those numbers towards the later weeks of your training plans, because if you're not, your risk of injury is going up. And if you think about it, yes, your long runs get a little bit longer on the weekend, but that's only one of them. So how do you accumulate that volume is you have to make your midweek runs get a little bit longer as well.
All right, so that's good. So hopefully there's something that you guys can take from this in planning your own training and sort of working. I think that getting to be an expert on that sort of rating of perceived exertion scale, so that you have an idea of how hard you're working on each run, is really an invaluable tool over time. And maybe we'll come out with another video in the next couple of weeks just sort of explaining that and kind of how you can use that to guide your training. But for now, that's it. We'll see you back here next time.